Start.
Okay, cool. Hi, my name's Will. I'm one of the Greg's boys, and I'm a serial top 4 because I have top 4 twice in the past month with Narukami. I got the 2 Shalomes right here, and yeah. So I'll walk you through the deck, and we'll talk a little bit. So I went with a Vowing Reverse list, so we're going to have the 4 Vowing Reverse. Important to note, you can either do Vowing Reverse or Sweep. They're fundamentally 2 different builds. I like Vowing Reverse a lot more because there's a lot more, it's sort of like, this is kind of like your control deck. There's a lot more that is in your control. You're not actually super reliant on your opponent nearly as much. If you're playing the Sweep command deck, you are really reliant on your opponent, and there's a lot of things that shut off your turns, like Neos or Grand Blue, or now Pale Moon as well can also just shut off all of your big explosive, like multi-attack plays. So 4 Vowing Reverse is the core of the deck. When you get to Limit Break, you get to restand your entire board if you've got a Vowing on board, and whenever you bind something, you get to your opponent has to bind a card, or they can choose to bind a card. If they don't, you give something 10. If they do, you give something 5. So on a Stunburst turn, because that's how this works, your main kill turn is actually with Stunburst. So you can bind a bunch of stuff and give a bunch of power, and that is kind of like your big game plan, so to speak. So everything kind of like is to build up for that game plan on that important kill turn. So you run 4 because that is the heart and soul of the deck. You do need a little bit of setup, so I actually run 3 of the History Collection, the Vanquisher. It's very good on your first one, so you get the 2 XLs, and you can also, your Stride sets up Bind. But the important bit as well is also the GB2. The GB2 works very well with all of your G guards that retire stuff on your opponent's board, which makes it so that you become a lot more tanky while you're also interacting with your opponent. So it makes it really tough for them to actually kind of like push through. So again, usually the push through is under your control. Is all it is. So 3 of this, and sometimes you actually kind of want to lead with this. If you go into the way this deck is built, is that it still runs some Cho-O, so you can do a little bit of Exterminate play. I'll get to that in a bit. But yeah, so free Vanquisher. And then the actual goat of the deck is Crumb Sago, which on attack, you Soul Blast 1, your opponent binds 3 cards from drop. If they don't, it gets an extra 10k power, or if they can't bind all 3, it gets a 10k power. But this is your your power gainer, essentially. This card allows you to really stack up the power with Vowing, because Vowing will see all of those cards that get bound. And more importantly, it also allows you to go tall, because if you're on the Honolulu, going wide is kind of not really a good option. But the way that you're allowed to allocate power with Vowing is that you're allowed to allocate it to multiple, the same things, but like multiple instances. So you attack with this, and then you can attack and restand this, and you can give extra power to just like, you can make big attacks without needing to counterblast a lot if you're under a Honolulu pressure. This card's also just very good in the cases where you can't bind a lot of cards from your opponent's field, aka like Resist or Ladder. Then you can still do stuff, and you can still turn on Bulwark, which is your most important G guard. So 2 is good, 3 is too clunky. I would love to run 3, but I can't do it. So that's it. So that's the grade 3s. The grade 2s are a lot of consistency. So you run 4 Spark Rays. This literally only does something on your grade 2 ride. It allows you to create like pressure columns, and oftentimes on the top 5 search, I can get a Demolition Dragon, and that becomes like a 22 with allowing you to draw 2 cards. After that, literally, the rest of them are dead. You run 4 because you want to see this on your grade 2 ride. The rest are just discard fodder or easy, just easy cards to get rid of. So you don't need more than that. Your other goated card in the deck is Zuitan. It builds soul. All of your good plays require soul. So it very rarely does the power gain actually happen on this. Most of the time, it's just like a free attack. You attack, pop the soul, draw a card. Also very good because it also allows you to do more MP plays, because you free up your circles, so you can just play 4 of that, and yeah, it's a phenomenally good card. The last of the grade 2s we run is 2 Cho-Os. So the old Vowing builds would run 2 would not usually actually run this card because it usually wasn't part of the game plan of the deck. But the reason why you would even include this is sometimes the on-ride bind the front row, it does matter. But the big one as well is that if your opponent is playing around stun burst and not actually calling a lot down, you can still go into exterminate, like you have that option, and still be able to counterblast one restand. So you can still apply pressure. But you could, I don't think you'd ever run more than 2 of this in this particular build. So that's fine. So grade 1s, we have more consistency. Grade 3 searchers, all your good stuff is grade 3. You need that. You need to see your good grade 3s. The other goat of the deck is Demolition Dragon. It does like 4 jobs, basically. If it hits, you draw a card, which is good. It also becomes extra soul and bind in a pinch. Sometimes there are often times where I need to do that. It also helps to clear board as well. You still apply pressure, you hit, you draw a card, pop the soul, and you empty your board, so you can still play into Impy better. And at worst, this card becomes like easy guard for your opponent, and the more cards that they guard from their hand, the more cards in graveyard you have to bind. So it's usually performing like 50 jobs. There's a reason it's called like the Asshole Dragon. It's such a powerful card. Obviously, if you play Sweep, you can't play Demo, but Demo is just too good in my opinion. So yeah, play for this. This card's good. Next, we go into the Necessary Evil in Honolulu. Honestly, in all my runs, this card barely did much. I think in like maybe 2 games out of the whole, I think like 15, this card actually did something. But it's still important to see just in case I wanted to face like Pale Moon or any other like filthy multi-attack bullshit clan. Yeah. So, and also it's very good because a lot more people are running ladder for like, and that stops a lot of like your very good G-Guard plays. So having the Honolulu in play, if your opponent is not retiring, you can lock it with the Vowing Reverse, and then so you're still able to multi-attack whilst doing this. It's basically just like flipping a floodgate in Yu-Gi-Oh! Essentially. But yeah, sometimes you need it. I felt like good just to run 2, but I don't think I'd ever run more than that. So because the next very good card is the brand new grade 1 promo. So what this does is it counts as a G guard, so it becomes your G guards 5 through 6. All your G guards are like the best cards in your deck, pretty much. So you need to have access to them. But also in a pinch, or if you're against something like Mega Colony, for example, you can, if you're at Thunderstrike 3, you can remove a heal, give you 20k shield. So this is 1 card, 30k shield on its own, which is insane. Especially if you're being locked out of G guards. And then if you're at Thunderstrike 5, you can counterblast 1, give your Vanguard 5k for the turn. I think this is one of like the best ones. All the ones of the promos that I see are always like either or, but this actually just gives you both. And quite frankly, this card is insane.
Why are you only playing 2?
Because I could only get 2. I think I would like to. There's an argument to running 4, and I could not decide whether if I did want to run 4 of that or run 2 of this. I think I would like to cover both options, because one is very good under when ladder is around, and this one is very good when you're not having ladder around, so you just have access to more stuff. But I think I'd have to test out and have to get more of this card if I want to test it out. But I think in a world I could see running 4 of that, not too sure, but that's why I run 2. 2 was good enough. This originally in Cardiff was a Sigma, which is the grade 3 that restands if it doesn't hit. Sigma did nothing. And this card actually put in so much work, so I had to bump it up to 2 at the very least. So yeah, that's that. The last 2 ones, we have the Elementaria because, of course, regardless of choice is Forbidol. Oftentimes you want to see Krumstego and Vowing Reverse, because this works if you have a Vowing Reverse on Rearguard or Soul to do your restand plays. So you have 2 very good Forbidol targets. So I don't think there's any argument to. There could be an argument for ladder, but I think having access to both of these just instantly in 1 card, I think is just crazy. So that's why that is. And then off to the triggers. V-Starter. If you're running Sweep, you care about the Eradicator name more, but since this doesn't care about the Eradicator name nearly as much, you don't care. So I get to run ESP. So we have 3 heal guards, 1 of the resource heal. You need to see heal guards early, especially if the way this deck is meant to be played is going second, I feel. Every time I've went second, it's just been phenomenal, considering I'm allowed to bind my opponent's stuff and like really kind of like interact with them and build up my game plan at the same time. But at the same time, sometimes you need the access to either one CB or one soul charge. The opponent won't give it to you. So this gives you a lot more, again, control. It gives me more, or like agency is probably the one. It gives you more agency to do what you want. So those are the 4 heals of choice. 4 strike crits, for Vanquisher crits or History crits. I don't know the name, but these are very good. And you can turn them into pseudo attackers as well with either if you stride into Exterminate, for example, or if you're facing another 9k grade 2 deck, then you just use these as 9k attackers on your grade free turn, which is phenomenal. And extra draws is good. Extra draws and extra power. We also run draw PGs. There are some builds that I've seen that run Anastasia, and it makes sense. Like part of the reason that you would also run like Honolulu or like anything that's 6k is that on your grade 1 ride, you can really damage knife people, and some decks really need to see that 1 CB in order to like really pop off like early on. But I valued the Honolulu and the grade 1 promo a lot more, so that's why I'm running the draw PGs instead. So free draw PGs, very good. And then 4 strike crits, because of course, and then overtrigger, because of course. We love the overtrigger, it's great. Okay, so to the G zone, we have the necessary license to play the game. And we also have 2 of the History Collection stride. Again, it builds spines and it builds into your G guards, which are very good. 2 Exterminate. There are actually often times I go into Exterminate like more than you think. I used to have this on 1, but then I actually found I needed the second Exterminate a lot more, so I went up to 2. And it's just a phenomenal card. If they play around Stunburst, you get to go into Exterminate and then still be able to do stuff. The only downside is that you really don't bind a lot. If you go into this card, you're really not binding much, which does turn off Bulwark, which is one of your best G guards. So but yeah, other than that, it's still like, it allows you to keep tempo and allows you to make sure that you're actually still doing something. It's a phenomenally good card. And then your actual end game card is Stunburst. So the limited one obviously makes it so that you can this plays either 2 roles. One is to build up your bind zone so that you can actually do a lot of your like kill stride plays. But the other one as well is also just to be a kill turn, because this works with Vowing Saber Reverse. So you destride off of Vowing Saber Reverse, you give a bunch of power to your board, and whilst also ripping cards out of your opponent's hand at the same time. So it oftentimes is really good. I won't lie, I miss the second Sunburst. I love second Sunburst, but we play it at 1, so one is still fine. Next is the kill strides. Usually I kill on voltage. Usually especially after Sunburst, you got to think like usually the opponent is in a position where they're either like not got a lot left, they're either dead on the Stunburst turn or they haven't got a lot left. So then voltage is really the one that actually just like solidifies your kill. Oftentimes it's usually like 15 cards in bind, so it's plus 30, plus 45, crazy numbers. So yeah, it's a very good card. Then obviously your GB8 as your backup. There are actually often times where I don't like going into this because I have a fully established board and I don't actually have a lot of cards in my hand. This card, I like this. I like Vanquisher a lot more than I do this all the time. But there are still times where you have like nothing on board and you go into this, you kill all your opponent's stuff, you get a big bind, and then you can still turn it. That's the cool part about these 2 cards, is that they turn anything into killers. Usually you'd have to see specific pieces to do that. But as you saw with like this and like the Vowing Saber Reverse, anything becomes a kill threat. So, and I like the fact that I could just turn even like triggers and stuff into kill threats. So that's that. And then you have a tech slot, and in Cardiff, this was full great, which usually was like a second Stunburst, functionally speaking, while still being able to do something. This is Gilgal, specifically for Honolulu Ladder, because that can fuck off. And it also allows you, if you're against Myth Colony, for example, it allows you to actually just not be able to ditch, because like that's one of the punishing things about Myth Colony is you have to ride a grade 3 and then you have to still stride after that, which sometimes is also discarding another grade 3. So if you establish Gilgal early, that means you're not having to minus another card out of your hand and you're able to just like still win that game. because you're just like still keeping advantage, and they go like, oh, the Godora you is like, I still have my grade 3 in hand because I don't need it to strike. So that's why we run Gilgal. Those are like the two scenarios where I run it. Realistically, this could be either full grade or even VMAX if you really want to, and you really want a meme. But usually these other strides will be just enough. So that's all the strides. Your G guards, you find free of your best G guard because it's your best G guard. It kills 2 things a lot of the time, and you're set up to actually make this actually effective. So this card's phenomenal. Very rarely do I do free, as in like use the third impede, but there have been times where it comes up, so free impede is still good. Your next best one is Bulwark because it can just kill the front row. It stops, because it happens before your opponent's end of battle skills, because when Guardian Circle retires, that means you can actually pop the stuff, like say your opponent's restanders like Esperidea or other plays like Nightstorm, for example, before they actually get their skills off, which is actually huge. And the fact that it got errated to be that is quite insane. So Bulwark is very good. And then the last one is Counteract Dragon. It's just a big shield. Sometimes you want more. I think having more of this could be good, but I felt like this list is kind of tight. So yeah, so that's kind of like the list. It's not really innovative. It's most of the European tops that I've seen. I've been running like very similar kind of lists. So this is kind of like the example, maybe an explanation for like those who are still looking at this deck and being like, oh, this deck it sucks because it's been hit so much. This deck is phenomenal. This deck is still very good. Thanks, Solemn. If it wasn't for Solemn, I would not have been able to get into World, so thank him. He sacked me. Honestly, like, these are all of the explanations like into the cards and stuff. The real big thing for this BCS season was just to have fun. Like, this is a deck that I fundamentally enjoy. I've been playing variants of this kind of deck for like a long time, and it's a deck that I am personally comfortable with. And when it came to this event, like, I wasn't really super stressed. I was just looking to have good games. And you know what? A lot of this BCS, I've had phenomenal games. So. And I got to meet a lot of awesome people, and it's been fun. Any shout-outs? Okay, Greg's gang. John is currently filming this, so like all of the Greg's gang for like the support and stuff. Local antics, because I wouldn't get half these cards probably without antics. So. The shout-outs to them. Shout out to every the judges as well. Every event that I've been to, the judges have been like not only like phenomenal at what they do, but also just having fun. It really like helps to like bring like the whole like make it a lot more relaxed basically, and they do a phenomenal job. So thank you to all the judges, the event staff as well, Blackfire. No, KJ's in the never mind. Yeah. so that's it. Thank you for my TED talk. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in Japan. Thank you, and thank you to everyone. Thank you to everyone who I've got to hang out with over this BCS. It's been really fun, and hopefully we'll see you next BCS.
We love you, Will.
Woo!